shortest path algorithms. So the first algorithm that we will see is Bellman-Ford algorithm. This is a generalized algorithm and it allowed negative weights also. Okay. However, negative cycles reachable from source are not allowed, right? Because we have seen that the shortest path for any node which have a negative cycle reachable from the source node is not well defined. Okay, so Bellman-Ford algorithm allows negative weight on the edges, but it will not allow any negative cycle reachable from S, right? So we will have a look at this algorithm. Then we will see Dijkstra algorithm, which does not allow negative weights. So Dijkstra assume that all weights are positive, and then you can apply this algorithm. Okay. Now there is one thing common in both the algorithms. There are two steps involved. The first one is initialization and the second one is relaxation. Okay. So first of all we will initialize something and then we will relax the distances, right? So we will have a look at both the both of the steps, and then we will see what is the difference between the two. Okay, so let's start with some notations. So whenever I say whenever I write delta of SV, what does it mean? It means that this is the shortest path weight from S to V, right? This is the shortest path weight. There is no other path which is having lesser weight than this. Okay. Now, what is D of V? D of V is the shortest path weight which is estimated. Okay. So, we will actually, in the beginning, in the initialization step, we will say that D of V is infinity. We can reach to vertex V from S with infinity weight, right? So this is the initialization step, and then we will keep on improving this weight. So as our algorithm progresses, D of V become closer and closer to the actual shortest path weight. Okay, and once the algorithm stops, at that time D of V is equal to shortest weight to that path, shortest path weight, okay, for that vertex. Okay. So apart from D of V, we will also store parent of your predecessor of V on the shortest path from S. Okay, and if you can correlate that, we can backtrack this path to find the actual path also, right? So basically these terms are giving us the weight of that shortest path, and with the help of this predecessor thing we can know the actual path, how to go from S to V, actual shortest path. Okay, so in the initialization step, what we will do, initially there is no predecessor on any vertex, so we will say that the value of predecessor of node V is nil. Okay, and this induce a tree. Definitely whenever we follow this is a tree, and what is this? Is a shortest path tree. Okay, so basically this is a path. You can go to V1, V2, right, and at some point in time you will reach to V. Okay, so it does not have any cycle, we have already seen. Okay, so a cyclic graph is actually a tree. Okay, and we can call it as shortest path tree, right? So let's see how to initialize the things. So the algorithm initializes. So first of all, we are working for single source shortest path. Okay, what do we mean by single source? So we will ask for a source node, and we will find shortest path from this source node to every other vertex which are there in the graph, right? So the input for the algorithm is set of vertex and the source. Now for each vertex we will initialize D of V to infinity and parent as null. Agreed? So this is the initialization step, and the distance of source we will put it to 0 because the source is already given to you in the algorithm. So we will say that distance to go from S to S is actually 0. Okay, and this is the initialization step. Now all the shortest path algorithms start with initializing single source. Okay, no matter whatever we discuss, for initialization this is the only thing. Okay, so now onwards I will just write this thing, initialize single source, it means we are doing these three operations. Okay, we are running a for loop and setting dv to infinity and pi v to nil for all the vertex, and then we will say that the source is having d of s as 0. Okay, how much time this algorithm will take? This will take v time. Agree, because we have to run this loop and this is a constant operation. Okay, great. Now there is a relaxation step involved. Okay, now what relaxation step is saying? So relaxing an edge means we are testing whether we can improve the shortest path to v found so far by going through u. Okay, so we can see in this example. Okay, so suppose s is the shortest, s is the source. Okay, and then we are at v, the estimated value of weight, that is d of v, is actually 9. Okay, so this is estimated that the shortest path is the weight of shortest path is 9. Okay, for this node. Now whenever somebody says that can you release uvh, what does it means? It means we have to check whether whether we can improve the shortest path which is already found. Okay, so this is some shortest path which was already found, and the shortest weight here is 9. Okay, the weight of the shortest path is 9. So relaxing means we just have to check that if suppose we travel from u to v instead of that extra path, if we go from u to v, then does it improve the cost of shortest path? Does it minimize the cost more further? Okay, so this is what we have to check. Okay, and if we do this, so this is called relaxing an edge. Okay, if we can do this, we will update all the parameters. If not, we will make no changes in it. Right, so we are having example of both the cases. So let's see the first example. So we will check if d of v, okay, the existing estimated cost is greater than the cost of, so d of u is whatever cost we have estimated for u plus the weight of this edge uv. Okay, so this is this term. Okay, now if the existing cost of at dv is greater, then we can say that yes, if we follow this path. Okay, so you can come, so you will take some path and come to u, and then from u you can follow, go to u, go from u to v. Okay, so in this way we can improve the weights. If yes, so what we will do, we will say okay, so now d of v is equal to d of u plus weight of uvh, and now parent of v becomes u. Okay, so if we have to follow the shortest path, so we will say that we are coming to v from u, not from any other path. Okay, so if this condition satisfied, if it is already greater, then only we will do these changes. Okay, rest of the cases it is either equal to, okay, and less than is not possible actually, right? So it is either greater or equal. So if it is equal, we will do no change. Right, so let's see. So if we go from, so in the second case, if we say there is a path exist, you know, if we follow that path, we can reach to v from s in weight 6. Okay, so d of v is actually 6. Now if we take this path, if we come to u, okay, and then from u we will come to 6 or v. Okay, so what is the weight? So the 5 is the weight of coming to u, and then we have to add 2. Okay, so the estimated weight is 7 now. Right, so d of v is not greater than, you know, this plus this, so we will do nothing. Okay, so we will say that we are already in a better, we already have a better path, so we don't want to come from u, and we will do nothing. So this is as edge relaxation step. Okay, we are relaxing an edge uv. Okay, so if there is a greater value existing at v, we will improve it. If not, we will do nothing. Okay, this is called edge relaxation. So after relaxation, definitely d of v is less than equal to d of u plus w of uv. Why we can say that? Okay, so if there is a, so just see both the cases. If there is a path exist, if there is a shorter path already exist, okay, we are not coming from you, there is already a shorter path exist, then in that case d of v is less than d of u plus weight of uv. Agreed? Agreed. And the first case, where if it is greater, then we will make it equal. Okay, so after relaxing uv step, after relaxing edge uv, we have this relationship. Okay, d of v is either less than, okay, or equal to. It cannot be greater than that. Why it cannot be greater than that? Because if it is greater than this, then we will definitely relax it. Okay, we will make it equal basically. Okay, so this is relaxation step. So in both the algorithms that we will see, we will follow these two steps. We will first do initialization and then we will do relaxing step, right? Okay, now as discussed earlier, Bellman-Ford is single source shortest path problem. Okay, so basically it computes shortest path weight for all the edges, and also it will compute pi of v for all the vertex, so we can follow this and know the actual shortest path. Okay, it allows negative edge weights. Okay, and it can detect negative cycle. If it is reachable from S, it will detect negative cycle, and it will return true if no negative weight cycle are reachable from source. Otherwise it will return false, because in that case no solution exists. Okay, so what we are saying, Bellman-Ford algorithm will work on negative weight edges. If there is a negative cycle in the path, then it will detect it and let you know that there is a negative cycle, so shortest path is not defined for this node. Okay, so let's have a look at the algorithm. Okay, so let's first discuss the idea, then we will see example, and then we will come to algorithm. Okay, so the idea here is we will relax each edge v minus 1 times by making v minus 1 passes over the whole edge set. Okay, so what is the idea? So suppose, so this is a source, we have to go to each and every edge, vertex, sorry, not edge, right? So from S we have to find shortest path from each and every vertex, right? So for each edge we will relax it v minus 1 times by making v minus 1 passes over the whole edge set. And to make sure that each edge is relaxed exactly v minus 1 times, it put the edge in unordered list and goes over that list, right? So we will make this unordered list for all the edges which are there in the graph. Okay, and in each iteration we will go through all these edges, and how many times we will do this? We will do this v minus 1 times. Okay, later on we will see why this will work. Okay, but this is the idea. So let's see the example. Okay, so we have already made this set of edges, we already have this unordered set of edges. Okay, now we will start. So we will take pass 1. So how many nodes we are having? We are having 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, 5 nodes. So how many passes required? We require 4 passes, v minus 1 passes. Okay, so let's see what happened after pass 1. So we will see all the edges adjacent to S. So we will start with S. Okay, then what we will do, we will see that the edge adjacent to S is ST. Okay, so the weight is T because there is no other way to go from S to T. Then we will say the weight of Y is 7 because there is only, again there is only one way to go. Okay, and from S we cannot go to any other places, so all the other nodes are having infinity weights, because after pass 1 we cannot go reach to these vertex from S. Okay, we can reach only to T and Y. So we have just go through all the edge set, and we have said that no, right now there is no path further. In the second pass, we will consider these nodes also. So we will consider T and Y. Okay, so we will assume that we are already have a path from S to T, and we already have a path from S to Y. Now let's see further where we can go. So now we will start exploring. So from T we are having a path from T to an edge from T to Z. Okay, so we will see this and update the weight of Z, right? Then we can say that okay, from Y also we are having a path to X, and we will update the weight here. Okay, because from this path this value is better than infinity. Okay, no, so that's it. Okay, so we will not do anything. So you can see there is also one more path. So from T we will also see this edge, okay, Tx, and we will go to this cycle. But since this is a positive cycle, it will keep on increasing the weight. Agreed? So we already have a better path, which is this one. Okay, so if we go from S to Y and Y to S to Y and Y to X, we are having weight 4. But if we go from S to T, okay, that is 6 plus, and if you take this cycle, this thing, then it is 5. So it is 11. So 11 is better than this one, right? So we have already explored this, but we will not change it because we are having the best path right now with us. Now let's see what happened in pass 3. So in pass 3 we'll go to X, and then we will explore this edge. So if suppose reaching to 2, if we can take this path, then what is the value of this path? So from S to X we can reach in 4 weight, and we can go from X to T in and it is a negative weight, right? So we can reach from S to T in weight 2, which is much better than the previous weight. So the weight was 6 at this point. Okay, so we will update the weight, right? And then in pass 4 we can see that there is no more updation on any node. Okay, whatever is there written on every node. Okay, so whatever value any d of v is having, it is actually equal to the shortest value, shortest path weight. Okay, our algorithm stops, right? So although we don't do anything in pass 4, but we still run pass 4. So basically the algorithm says that after v minus 1 iteration, each and every node will have the shortest path weight reachable from S. Okay, now let's have a look at the algorithm. Okay, so one more thing. So as I told you that there is a negative, if there is a negative cycle, then our algorithm will report that. So this is the suppose this is another graph, and it has negative weight cycle, right? So let's see how our algorithm can report. So we are having this loop. So for each edge, what we will do, so we will say if d of v is greater than this. Okay, so let's assume that we already run Bellman-Ford algorithm v minus 1 times. Once we run it v minus 1 times, it means that after that each and every node has the shortest weight. Okay, and after that we will again run this loop, and if we found that at any particular point there is still exist a shorter path, it means this graph has a negative cycle, and we will return false. Okay, why? Because we already run this v minus 1 times. So whatever weights written on the node are actually the shortest path weights. If we still are finding more shorter path, then definitely there is a problem, and the problem is there exists a negative weight cycle which is reachable from S. Okay, So let's assume this case. So if if we will run the algorithm, our shortest path algorithm, on this graph, in after pass 1, what we will do after pass 1, we will say that the weight at B is 2, right? So this is what we will do. So we will change it to 2, and then we can say that we can reach from B to C and the weight is 5. Okay, so this is okay. And we can reach to S in -3, okay, because there is a cycle. Now in second pass, okay, in second pass, what we can see that we can still reduce the weight. Okay, so this is the first pass, means actually we have run the entire algorithm. Okay, we have run the entire algorithm, we are just running this. So after running the algorithm, we are having this weight, this graph actually. Okay, but you can see as you can proceed, you can still lower down the weights which are there, which are written on any vertex. It means there is a negative cycle, and then we will return form. Okay, so you can look at SBH. So D of V is -1 and D of S is -6, and the weight is this. So you can still reduce down it to -4. Okay, so the more and more you take cycles, the weight will become smaller and smaller. Okay, and therefore it is not defined. Good. Okay, so now let's see the Bellman-Ford algorithm. So this is the initialization step we have already seen. Okay, the complexity of this is V. Now what we have to do, we have to just run a loop V minus 1 times, and in each each time we have to go through all the edge set, right? And then we have to relax those edges. So we have already seen the relaxation step. We'll relax it. Okay, so this particular thing will actually give you shortest path from S to V for all vertex, and this code is to find the negative weight cycle. Okay, so once we run this algorithm from 2 to 3, we have the shortest path, but still if we can reduce it further, then we will say there is a negative cycle. Otherwise we will return true, means there is no negative cycle, and we have all the weights. Okay, shortest path weights basically. Okay. So now let's have a look at the complexity. So as discussed, initialization will take theta v time. This will run for v times. Okay, so 1 to v minus 1, that is order v, and this we have to run for all edges. Okay, so this is actually order of e. Okay, and since this is a nested loop, therefore this both loops, the complexity is v times e. Okay, then this is again for each edge, so it will run e times. Okay, so the overall complexity is v plus ve plus e, that is equal to order of ve. Okay, so this is quite simple algorithm, very elegant algorithm, and after v minus 1 iteration you are able to find the shortest path weight for each and every node. Okay, the running time however for this algorithm is order of v times e. Okay, good. Now let's see why this algorithm worked. We will see the correctness of this algorithm. So before that, let's see some properties of shortest path. Okay, so the very first and quite intuitive property is upper bound property. Upper bound property says that we always have d of v greater than the shortest distance or equal to for all vertex. Okay, so basically we are saying whenever we do relaxation step, we are actually lower down the estimated cost. We will never increase the estimated cost, right? And this is quite trivial, right? So suppose this is our graph. If we do xv relaxation, okay, xv relaxation if we do, then we will actually reduce the cost at v. Previously it was 6, now it was 2. Okay, so relaxation actually lowers down the estimated cost. Okay, and till what time it will lowers down? Till it becomes equal to the shortest path weight. Okay, so this is the first property. Second property is convergence property, which says that if S to U and U to V is a shortest path, and if D of U is already, contains the value of shortest path weight at any time prior to relaxing this edge UV, then after relaxation D of V is equal to shortest path weight of SV. Okay, so what we are saying here is this. Suppose you can see this diagram. Okay, so suppose there is some path from S to U. Okay, and there is a direct edge from U to V, right? Now if this is the shortest path, okay, and we already have the value of shortest path weight, means we are done with U. Okay, we reach to this value anytime before relaxing this edge. Okay, so this is the case. Now if we have this condition, and after that if we relax UV edge, then definitely at DV, what DV is, DV will actually give you shortest path. Okay, so if you remember that optimal substructure property. Okay, so this is again kind of a variant of this, right? So it becomes equal because this is the shortest path. Okay, so if we already have a shortest path till this node, when we relax this, V is also having the shortest path. Okay, so this is what written here. If D of V is greater than so actually we have proved this, right? If D of V is greater than this, after relaxation it becomes equal to this. Otherwise the value remains unchanged because it must have been the shortest path value. Okay, so if you remember, anytime D of V is greater than equal to the shortest weight, okay, from the upper bound property we have seen this. So what we are saying, that even if after relaxing this UV, okay, we become equal, and it is not necessary that so if it is greater, if D of V is greater, then we will relax it and we will have this weight. Otherwise we will do no change because then it is the shortest path. Okay, good, because we already know that this is the shortest path. Okay, so this is convergence property. If S to U there is a path and U to V is a direct edge, if this is the shortest path, and if D of U is already have the shortest path value from S to U at any time prior to relaxing this edge, so after relaxing the edge, D of V will contain this value. Okay. Now there is another property called path relaxation property. What this property is saying, so let's assume that there is a path P, okay, and the vertex of this path is V0 to Vk, and this is the shortest path from V0 to Vk. Okay, now if we relax all the edges, okay, V0 to V1, V1 to V2, in any order you can relax, but we have relaxed all these edges. Okay, then D of Vk is equal to S of Vk. Why? Because if we have already relaxed it, so we can follow the previous property. So whenever we reach to Vk minus 1, so we already relax this edge. Okay, and once we relax this edge Vk, then we are having the shortest path at D of Vk. Okay, so path relaxation property says if there is a path from V0 to Vk, and that is the shortest path, and if we relax all the edges between this, we can get the shortest path at D of Vk. Okay, so this is the example. So from S to V1 we are having the shortest path till V1, we are having a shortest path till v2, then we are having a shortest path till v3, and then we are having a shortest path till v4. Okay, so if we know that this is the shortest path, you just keep on relaxing all the edges, okay, and you will reach to the shortest path distance. Right? Now using all this property, let's prove the correctness of Bellman-Ford algorithm. Okay, okay, so uh, the theorem that we say is that we have to show that d of v is equal to shortest path weight from S to V for every vertex after v minus 1 passes. Okay, this is what we have to prove, right? Why we have to prove this? Because in our algorithm we says that we will run the loop for v minus 1 time for all the edges. Okay, and after that, you get the shortest path at every node. Okay, so let's prove this. So let's prove this by induction. So let's assume, so there are two cases now. Case one is G does not have negative cycle which is reachable from S. Okay, in that case, let's assume that the shortest path from S to V is this. Okay, this is the shortest path, and V0 is actually S, the source, and Vk is actually V. Okay, now the path P is simple, so K is definitely less than equal to V minus 1. Okay, so how many maximum nodes any path can have? It has all the nodes, right? So how many nodes are there? There are V nodes, right? So since K is starting from 0, the maximum value of K is V minus 1. Okay, so this is what written here. Okay. Since the path is simple, the value of K is this. Okay, now let's prove it by induction. So we will say that for I is I equal to 0 to K, we have d of Vi is equal to shortest weight, the shortest path weight from S to Vi for all I from 0 to K. Okay, now we will use mathematical induction on the number of passes of I to show that this equality holds. Okay. Now let's assume the base case. So in base case I is 0. What is V0? V0 is actually S. Okay, and the distance from S to S is 0. Okay, so this will become our base case. Now through inductive hypothesis, let's assume that this method will work for V minus I node also. Okay, so after I minus 1 iteration, we are having shortest path weight from S to Vi minus 1. Okay, now using inductive step, we will show that after this, after relaxing Vi minus 1 and I, we have this hold. Okay, so let's prove this. So after ith pass is over, the edges of G, okay, and that this equality is actually maintained because so we are saying that okay, after relaxing this edge, what happened? We already know from our relaxation step, okay, that if this is the shortest path, so we already know that this is the shortest path. Okay, we already assume that this is the shortest path. Okay, and we have seen that till Vi minus 1 we are having our shortest path already. Okay, now if we relax this, okay, from the relaxation theorem we know that this is true. Okay, after relaxing this, d of Vi is less than equal to d of Vi minus 1 plus W. Okay, this is from relaxation step. Now we already know that d of Vi is shortest path. We already know this. Okay, if we add weight of uv edge or this vi minus 1 and vi edge, we actually get the shortest path. Why? Because convergence property says that if there is a path from S to U and there is a direct edge from S to V, okay, and the shortest path from S is actually this S to V, this is the shortest path, U is coming in between, right? So if you find the shortest path till U and then if you relax this edge, you will get the shortest path for V as well. Okay, so with this property we can conclude that after relaxing, the value of d of vi is actually less than equal to this. Agree? Now from upper bound property we can say that it could not be less than, at any point of time d of v is not less than the shortest path. Okay, so this proves that they are equal. Okay, this is a simple proof. Okay, I'm repeating once again here. So we have proved it using induction. We have considered the base case. Okay, and then we are saying that through inductive hypothesis we can assume that this is true for d of vi minus 1. At vi minus 1 we have the shortest path weight. Okay, now we have to prove this. To prove this, what we are saying, let's just relax this edge. After relaxing this edge, what we have in our hand, we have this inequality. Okay, we have this inequality. Now we already know from inductive hypothesis that the value of this is S of vi minus 1. It already have the shortest path, and if we add the weight of edge, vi minus 1 comma vi, if we add the weight of this edge, what it will give? It will give us the shortest path. Okay, because this is the shortest path and this is the last edge you are relaxing. Okay, so with this what we can conclude? So we can remove all this and then we can conclude that d of vi is actually less than equal to this. Okay, but we also know that upper bound property says that d of v will never become lesser than S of vi, shortest path weight from S to vi. Okay, because relaxation is always decrease the estimated cost. It will not ever increase the estimated cost, right? So with this, if we have to follow these two inequalities, it is only possible if this is true, if d of v is equal to this, and we have proved this. Okay, so we can say that after v minus I iteration, so how many times we actually run this? We have run this I times. Okay, and the value of I is from 0 to k. And what is k? K is actually maximum value is v minus 1. Okay, so after v minus 1 iteration we have the shortest path weight at each node. Okay, now there is this case 2. So if case 2 is there, so what the algorithm will do in case 2? It will actually return false, right? So now we will see that why it is correct. Okay, so let us assume that there is this negative weight cycle from v0 to vk. Okay, where v0 and vk is equal, this node, and this is the negative weight cycle. Okay, so if you take sum of edges of all this negative edge weight cycle, okay, so the weight is actually less than 0 because it is a negative weight cycle. Okay, so the cycle is from v0 to vk, where v0 and vk are equal. Since it is a cycle, the first and last node are equal. Okay, and if you add the weight of all these nodes, okay, so there are actually k nodes, so if you go from 1 to k and you add weight of all the edges, the sum is actually less than 0. Okay, good. So now let's prove this. So we will prove this by contradiction. So suppose the algorithm returns a solution. Okay, let's assume that it will return a solution. So when we relax this edge, the last edge, okay, this edge, when we relax the last edge, d of vi is less than d of vi plus weight of vi minus 1 vi. Okay, so this we already know, this is a known fact from our convergence theorem. Okay, this is a cycle, there is only one path in the cycle. Okay, and therefore this holds. Now to prove this, let's take sum of weight of all the edges which are there. Okay, so we are taking sum of all the weights which are written there. So I equal to 1 to k, because there are k nodes, so we'll take sum of all the estimated cost over there. Okay, so this is the inequality. We come down here and we take sum on both the sides, right? Now if you see that this term is actually equal to this term. Why? So let me elaborate this a bit. Okay, so what is d of vi? D of v1, actually this is d of v1 plus d of v2, okay, plus till d of vk. Okay, what is d of vk? D of vk is actually d of v of 0. Okay, so let me write it 0 instead of k, right? So this is the elaboration of this term. Now let me just elaborate this term. Now what I is 1, so this is d of v0 plus d of v1, okay, till d of v k minus 1. Great. So actually let me just write d of k d of vk minus 1 plus d of vk. Okay, and in the end I just remove this vk and put v0 here. Okay, now if you see, both of these are same actually. Okay, this is going from d v0 1 2 3 up to k, right? And this is again going 1 2 3, all the terms are same. Okay, the only difference is here it is having vk and here it is having v0, but since vk is equal to vk, we can remove this term. Okay, and similarly we can keep on removing all the term. So both of these term cancel each other because they are same and they are on the reverse side of the inequality. Okay, so actually this term is cancelled by this term. Okay, and in the end we left with something this. So we left with this only. Okay, and what it is saying, that if you take sum of weight of all the edges, okay, from in this cycle, it is greater than 0, and this is a contradiction because we already know that it is less than 0. Okay, and hence we can prove that the algorithm will not return any solution. Okay, so we have proved the correctness of Bellman-Ford for both the cases, when G does not contain a negative cycle and when G contains a negative cycle. Okay, so let's stop here, and I am having a quiz for you, so you can pause the video, solve the quiz. In the next video we will see Dijkstra algorithm.